Today is October 26th, 2023. And what I've noticed about, I've noticed something very intriguing about these stocks, and the behavior of the stocks are quite interesting. So if I look at the flip side, I'm looking at the flip side right now, right? I'm looking at the flip side. See how it just jumps down, comes back up here? So that right there essentially signals a reversal. So right there, essentially, it signals a reversal right there. And what I've also noticed about uh, the way that the stocks behave is when I look at here, like this right there, there's this thing called rounding effect. There's like a rounding right there, and then there's a rounding. When these rounding things occur, it signals a trend reversal. That's what that thing does. Because I've been seeking these two things. One of the things is continuation and trend reversals. So if I draw a line here, I'm just analyzing this thing. So if I draw a line from here to here, just tapping through the peaks right here, okay? I'm just looking at it. And if I look at, I'll just draw a thicker line here. And I'll change that color to gold right there. So when I look at this line, I mean, this is the trend that's occurring, right? That's the trend right there. This is meta for today. It started to just trend down, and it did not occur to me that's what it's doing, but it is doing that's what it's doing. It is trending down like that, just straight down. So what I've noticed about these areas that I've seen in the past is that there is like this rounding. I mean, am I able to draw an arc? Is there an arc kind of thing? Uh, there's um, there's really there isn't a tool that allows me to draw a little arc. There is not an arc. So what I'm looking at is that's an arc right there. Right there, that is an arc. That right there is an arc. And then when it drops down, it comes back here. That's another arc right there. Arc. Lower high right there. That clearly signifies to me that the stock is going down. Okay, it's going down. When it's going down, and if I have a call position or a long position, I better get the heck out of that trade because that's what it's doing. And then it creates another lower high, lower high, lower high, and a lower high. That's how it works. So let's see here, draw this back down, and look what happened. I mean, this is after hours. But what I'm looking at, I've seen this before. It does that. It has rounding kind of a thing. And so when I'm in a hold of a stock and I see this first red candle like this, right? When I see the first red candles on this side, it means I better get out of the trade. If I am in profit, I need to get out of that trade and keep my profit. That's what I need to do. So I can see that on Meta, and I saw that, and I should have gotten out of it, but I allowed it to just keep going down and down and down. So here's another trade that I made today. So I'm not sure at which point that I got in, but I got in and got out. And this one is less evident, but it's spiky. It definitely is spiky. But this essentially should have just told me, look right here. I mean, it was up, but now it's down. See that right there? I mean, that is an indication that I need to exit the trade. It's so obvious in hindsight, obviously. Obviously, it's too obvious in hindsight. Um, but that's how it is, okay? That's how it works out. And so that means it was lower than this. It creates that. That means I need to get the heck out of that trade right here, right around here. This is the area that I need to get the heck out of that trade. So if I look here, I need to get out of that trade right around here somewhere, right there. Right here in this area, I need to get out of that trade. And sure enough, drops down. It hits whatever this moving average is. If I look at it, that's 200-day moving average, 200-point moving average. And so goes down here, and bounces up there, and breaks through. Man, that's cataclysmic. I mean, it is going down. There's really no support at all until it gets to this point, which is the previous day's low, right? So that's something that I should have been more aware of. But on this side of the trade, I can see that. Let me see if any other stocks are exhibiting these characteristics. See how these are. So this is Amazon also. I mean, this stock took a, heavy beating right there. So if I look here, rounding right there, right there. So if I look at it, there's a rounding right there. Here's another rounding right there. Right there is another rounding right there. I mean, these are the rounding things that I see on these occasions that signals, and I've seen this before. I'd be in here, the profit would be there, and then started to round and then drop. These are interesting characteristics. So this one is actually has some sort of interaction with the view up as well. So this is today's trade. Now look at Boeing as well. Boeing had a interesting interaction with this right here. Look at that. That's that right there. That right there. If I just draw this line, I'm just drawing this line right there. That essentially signifies that right there is somebody's selling right there. Somebody's, look at that. Boom, boom. I mean, if I zoom in here, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, 7 times it hit that. Okay, so somebody was selling here, but it went punched through and it came back down. It is saying that it has been rejected. Now it's starting to come back down. And so this is something that rounding, these are the rounding things that occurs. That's really not a rounding thing, but that's still, and then here is a rounding thing. Broad rounding kind of a situation. I should essentially get out of that trade at that instant right there. So in these areas, when I see this particular situation right there, I need to get out of this. When I see this rounding thing, that means that, look, right here, even right here, here's the rounding thing right there. That's the rounding thing. Rounding. Round. That's something that I need to be aware of. Now, Costco is a bit choppy. I'm still seeing this as well. This is essentially, if I look at the DIA, probably it exhibits the same thing. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Yep. So if I look at Disney as well, I mean, these are clear indication of round, round, round. These are roundings. Look at the Google right there. Look at this. See that? Rounding, rounding, rounding right there, right there. So if I look here, that's one area. That's another area. Here's another area. So these are these are chart formations that I've seen in the past that behaves just like that. I mean, this is, see, rounding, rounding right there. And that's another rounding. And another rounding. Just like that. Just like, look at the rounding here too. So these are the rounding effects. Round, round kind of thing. So if I look at Microsoft, which is also exhibiting similar characteristics, which tended to be bullish throughout the day because it started out quite high. And then here's a rounding. Here's a rounding. Here's rounding, rounding right there. So these are spiky little things that are there. Now, if I look at Tesla here, so the concept we call is rounding. rounding. Concept is called rounding. So look at that. So I need to be looking at these situations where there is this rounding effect. See how this rounding thing occurs? When I see that, that means that I need to get out of the trade because it's a major trend reversal. That is a major trend reversal right there. That's what it means. So looking at some of the stocks that I've seen before, just like that rounding, look at that. Rounding, rounding, rounding right there. So if I look at here, right there, that should signal it. I'm up, I'm up, I'm up. Oh, it's rounding. Get out of that trade. Boom. That signals a major trend reversal. Rounding, rounding essentially is saying, okay, something strong is happening and it's broad, okay, and that essentially states that there is a strong tendency to reverse. It's a major trend reversal. That's what it means.